Hey buddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here and welcome to Civilization 6. Today we're not going to be playing modded at all, we're just going to be playing a fairly random game of Civ. We're going to be playing on deity difficulty, small continents map type, standard map size, abundant resources, new world age, wet rainfall, and low sea level. We're also going to be taking on legendary start position, and that's basically it. I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to turn on any game modes. I'm going to go ahead and just smash the start game button. And who we roll is who we'll play, unless it's a Civ that I remember playing in like the last couple of weeks. Then we'll go ahead and skippity doo-dah. I think I've done a Maya game recently. My last game was a culture game, and the game before that was a science game, I think. I'm trying to think of what kind of game I could make happen with the Mayan Empire. Well, I suppose she is good at playing tall. We could do a campus rush tall game. Maybe go for Edamananki. Do we have a floodplain? We do not. We have kind of a... Well, we have actually... The observatory does not benefit from things like reefs and this, so that's not important. This will be a plantation unless I settle on it, but step onto this hill to get better vision. I could move one towel down to the right to settle the city center here. Then the actual observatory itself could go here, and if I were to place farms on either side of it, that would become a +3 observatory, and then we could probably get that up higher over time. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking about that as a move. I'm going to move down towards... Oh, I could move up towards this marble. I don't hate that plan. I think moving towards this 2 food, 2 production tile is good. It'll allow... I got sandwiched between desert and tundra again. This is like every game of Civ I play. It's always desert tundra. Okay, I think I'm going to settle the stone, and we'll see what we can do at this start. Now, to talk a little bit about Maya's bonuses, non-capital cities within 6 tiles of the capital gain 10% to all yields, and they get a free builder when they're founded. Other cities get -15%, so we definitely want to stick to a small number of high-quality cities. Settling next to freshwater and coast does not provide extra housing. Instead, farms provide extra housing, and you get +1 production for every adjacent observatory, and +1 gold. +1 amenity for every luxury adjacent to the city centre. So I think settling on stone is a rather good bonus here for the Mayab. We also get the Ulche, which is a really good early defensive unit, and the Observatory, which is a great district. I think right here is a perfectly reasonable observatory. I think there's a pretty okay commercial hub, although I hate killing a thing like this. And if I go city center here, we could eventually get a farm down there. I mean, it's an okay farm tile. It'll do the work. And it's still only been 2 turns since we started moving, which is honestly not that long to be moving your capital. I would say this is the last turn you really want to be settling. Beyond this is where things start to get problematic. Now, we're going to be working that lovely citrus tile, which is fantastic. This is the current plan. This might change as time goes on. I might settle another city to the south and put another observatory here. My land quality is really low. Another part of my low land quality is the fact that you probably want to rush a builder on Maya. It's a unique thing of Maya to do the builder rush. And then we'll go double slinger for the defense because we're going to need the Ulche to stay alive. The reason you have to rush a builder is because you need to get those farms online. I mean, eventually late game there can be a farm here, but in the early game that'll definitely be a mine unless a strategic resource appears there. This isn't the worst tundra I've ever seen. I was hoping for more plantations down here. We have a camp, which is fine. Would have loved another luxury down here. Like, I think silk can spawn in tundra, maybe. I don't know. Don't ask me how spiders live in tundra. We did find another continent, which is nice. I think we want to prioritize production in this city over growth right now because we are growth locked. We're at our housing limit, which is why we need the builder. I am quite happy that I found Samarkand, and I was the first person to find Samarkand, so I am going to get a little bit of a gold trickle. A barb camp just appeared, or I just didn't see it. Either way, that's a problem for me. We're going to have to start clearing this barb camp. I'm going to attack it once before I have Code of Laws, and then I'll heal for 2 turns. I have been scouted by this barb scout, but he shouldn't attack my builder. He should want to move back to his barb camp. Let's go ahead and build that farm right now. There's the irrigation boost. We will delete map tax. So that is a 5 food tile right there and 1 gold, which would allow me to buy my way to this extra farm over here a little bit sooner. So I think I will build that way. It cost me 75 gold to get out there, but I think that's worth it. And my warrior is going to heal for one more turn, and then I will get the attacking barbarians card plugged in. You're going to retreat now. Yeah, we are doing an observatory rush this game. A unorthodox strategy. We're going to take God King to get our Pantheon, Discipline to fight barbs more effectively, and I will attack this scout once to soften him up, but I will need this slinger soon. I think I'm going to switch to get irrigation. It would be nice to get this plantation online, plus I can't really build a farm for a while, and the extra gold would be great to be able to buy tiles. I'm also going to get to work on foreign trade so I can get the trader out. It'd be nice to start trading with Samarkand early. I'm going to fortify with this warrior because this warrior should come and attack me, and then my slinger will come out to reinforce that warrior, and then we will have more or less dealt with the problem to the south. So he is in double defensive terrain because it's the hill and woods, and he's fortified twice, so he should have plus 12 defensive combat strength, so he should be very, very hard to kill, and he can take this camp whenever he feels like it. I would like to take it with a promotion. I'm going to take the battle cry promotion to heal him up. I'll bring this slinger. Well, I should let him just fortify tank for a little bit longer, but I'll bring the slinger slightly forward, and this slinger will hopefully start getting some kills. There's archery boosted. I might just go triple slinger here. It might be an okay opener just to get me all the defensive units I need early game, and then we can go double settler or something. We'll figure out our settlers. We might just be doing a one city thing for a while here. We might see what we have to do. All right, he's nice and fortified here. I think I could take this barb camp now. Perfect, that's the barb camp cleared. We get a bit of gold out of that. I'm going to go ahead and buy that farming tile here. This will eventually be really, really useful. I'm also going to buy this 2 food 2 production tile because I think it's more useful than the growth tile because we are at our growth limit. I'm going to wait here on this plantation tile though before I move, because if I move, things might not go well for me. If I place a second observatory over here and then a commercial hub adjacent to it, I can get slightly higher adjacency in here. And I think it would be pretty safe for me to settle in some of this tundra land because I can always yoink these farms for this city down here to help it grow. Do I want to go coastal to play harbor? There's at least 1, 2, 3, 4. There's at least 4, 5 fishing tiles within range of the harbor and city center here. Which is pretty good scaling. That's like 10 food right there when you get to the final scaling. So I think a coastal city here does make sense. It also gives me potential access to maybe do some trading or invasion of other local nearby towns. This location is fairly weak and I am crushing a useful hill. It's fine. We'll just have to make use of the coastline. My slinger has leveled up. I'm going to move it towards the south. I'm going to take the volley promotion. I'm going to attack with my warrior here. We're clearing out all these barbs. We're going to get another slinger soon. We're working on irrigation. Who's the first scientist up for grabs? It's Euclid. So I don't care so much about Euclid. We clear out both the warrior and the slinger, and that is mission accomplished. And now we can start to explore a nearby area. We will finish this slinger. I'll definitely get at least one settler. This one is within so many tiles of the capital. There is another okay, this is a bad tundra city. There's an okay tundra city down here. It has reasonable production. It has a fishing tile. It's adjacent to a truffle. It's within the 6 tiles of my capital. It's not a terrible city. It is tundra, which sucks. So potential city right there with a, well, one, we could maybe fit in an observatory somewhere near these farms. If I put the observatory from this city on this tile, it would give +1 production to the 2 adjacent farms. And then eventually we could put more farms around it. Something like that. I don't know. We're working on it. I'm kind of ad hocing a plan together, which is kind of like what I have to do. This is my favorite way to be playing Civ though. So I'm kind of back. I've been doing a lot of challenges and a lot of like new Civ, but I really just love playing Civ and like having the game unfold in front of me. That's my favorite way to play. My least favorite way to play is like play the same Civ over and over and try to like optimize them. But there is a plantation built on this citrus now. So that now becomes a 2 food 1 production tile with 2 gold attached, which is very high quality because it will allow me to have a lot of control over what tiles we work. We also have the housing now, especially if we get this rice tile online, which we will. After we get riding, we're probably going to go sailing because we do have a few fishing boat stuff and we could get a fairly early galley to protect our coastline. All right, we got a barb camp to the north. I'll start working on clearing that. I'll move you back to Waknabal to get healed up. You're on a hill. You have +5 combat strength, so you have +13 defensive strength, so you can attack here, lower his combat strength, and so you have like a +15 normal advantage over what a slinger would normally have fighting a spearman, so you should have no problem defending this. Yep, he gets completely obliterated, and I also have another slinger coming in to help. Do I want to build a settler right now? I could alternatively build the monument and then go for the observatory. I think now's a good time to crank out a sneaky settler. So we will get to work on it. It'll only slightly delay our observatory by 2 turns. If I do meet another civ, I might go ahead and just immediately go for the observatory, because getting those great scientist points rolling early is actually a pretty big deal. We do have a plantation over here to the west, which could be pretty useful. There's actually a citrus here, which means there's a very, very powerful observatory. If we can get that citrus inside our borders, okay, we get that plantation here, we put a farm here, and we put a farm here adjacent to that. This starts to all become very strong land. That's like +2 production right there. And the question becomes, do I want this? Let me have a look at what boosts the observatory again. It does benefit from government plaza tiles and adjacent districts. So I could delete this. Okay, hear me out. Maybe this is slightly more optimal. If I put a commercial hub here, instead of where it was, I lose 1 adjacency on it. Oh well, not a big deal. But I retain Plains Hill, which has nice production. And then instead, I would build an observatory over here, which would provide +1 production to 3 tiles. And then if I just, pop down a government plaza somewhere nearby, maybe I'll build it in my second city. What if I built a government plaza in this city right there? Turn this city into a government construction area. Then I just eventually need to get like +1 district in this city, and this becomes a +3 campus, which is honestly really fantastic. And then we have a whole bunch of high production farms, and we're optimizing for the individual quality of these tiles. And then if I go for, well, I probably can't go for Marsh Pantheon. I could technically go for Marsh Pantheon. It would give me a really strong early game with all these marshes around. Let's go for Early Empire. We want the Governor title. We also want the Settler production card. And we want the Open Borders thing. Those are the 3 key parts. I'm going to go ahead and take the volley promotion on this slinger over here to the north of my capital. This slinger I'm just exploring with, so I'll kind of just gently walk around with him. There is a warrior standing in my way on the right, because of course there is. That's just how warriors work. If it's the AI, they just love to get in your way. They love to be in your way. It's their favorite thing in the world, just being in the way. Some relatively high quality land up here to the north. I'm going to allow this slinger to get the kill on the camp for 2 reasons. A, this guy has no experience, so it's a good opportunity for him to get some. And second, you can't attack and clear a camp with a ranged unit, so have one of them attack to clear it and the other one actually take it. Let's pop down this little farm here. That should give us another +1 housing. So now our capital is, in terms of housing, on par with another player's capital. Yeah, really great. Let's unlock some tiles to see if we can focus on production. I would much rather get this settler out a turn sooner than grow in a few turns, because when the city grows, we're going to lose a population. And so if we grow right before we lose a settler, it's really suboptimal. What we want to do is be relatively close to growing when we pop a settler. So that way we lose a pop, but then immediately regrow to the pop we just lost. It's a small little optimization thing, but it would take too long to explain how that mechanic actually works. So I'm not going to bother, but just trust me on that one. There's another +3 era score for clearing a barb camp. These are nice little pickups that we're getting here in terms of era score. I think I've got 3 cities planned. All of them are within the Magic 6 range. Now, one thing that we can do is we can go for the city overlap range. And I believe if I set it to mouse and I hover over my capital, you can see any city that's settled within the white area will actually benefit from the special abilities of my faction. So that'd be quite nice. There's an interesting area to me over here. If I were to settle on this hill right here, place my observatory on this tile, a plantation on the oranges, and then a pair of farms, one here and the other here. This is a nice +3 adjacency as well. And we also have access to another luxury within range of this city. And if I go to settler map mode and hold down control, you can see the tiles that this would control. The only thing is I don't have a good Petra city. If I do this, actually, this could be the good Petra city. There's enough 1, 2 chops in range with decent production. I might be going to settle up here early because this land quality is just a bit higher. All right, let's go ahead and do some exploring. Normally I go for scouts early, but I've decided to start experimenting with the slinger opener because getting 3 slingers early and doing a little bit of exploration with them actually has some really key benefits. It means that you are already set up to go for ancient walls, and on a small continents map, the landmass you're on is usually fairly small, so you might want to use galleys to explore down the line rather than scouts. So I'm going to finish writing. I'm going to pick up mining because I definitely want this marble resource to be put online as well. That's a great extra luxury. And I think settling this city first makes just tons of sense. The fact that we get the tea, the citrus, and the marble, that's 3 luxuries. Now we already have a citrus, but that just means we have 1 spare to trade if we do in fact meet another player. Right, there's writing. Let's go to the capital city. We're going to go ahead and place the observatory on the marsh. Boom. And then we'll finish the settler. We could clear that marsh, by the way, because we decided to pick up irrigation first, which is what gives you the ability to clear marshes. That kind of partially factored into my decision to go for that first. And yeah, observatory will be coming right after the settler. Tribal village over there, that's an excellent find. Hanging out here, waiting for me to claim it. I will heal for a turn before I try to pick that up, because if you pick up a tribal village when you're hurt, it can just heal your unit, which is, in my opinion, a bit of a waste of a tribal village. Let's have a little bit of a study of where we can settle. The furthest east we can settle is like there. Do we really want to settle a desert city? Am I really going to settle for 4 cities this game? I feel like I have to kill Samarkand. Honestly, I think killing Samarkand is actually just like an easy it's an easy W for me. Seriously, the city that I settle in the desert will be fairly garbage, but I think it's worth doing just to get another city. It'll eventually be useful. Or I could just use all those hills for a Petra city and leave this blank. Yeah, I definitely feel like this is a Petra city. Right, let's head north to our goal and continue to explore. We found another tribal village. Big fan of that. Hopefully you will heal up. And we shall keep exploring. Finding Caguana is quite nice. Samarkand is great for trading domes, and we already have 2 envoys with them, which feels really bad that we're planning to kill them. It is deity, so they start with walls. It might take us a while to kill them. Caguana, on the other hand, is +1 culture for every bonus resource, and entertainment complex. Could be a great way for me to boost my culture this game, is actually to make friends with Caguana. So we might look into that. Oh my god, a free relic. That's so huge for my culture and tourism. See, I've got 200 gold in the bank. I could go for a trader here. The trader would really help me out with gold income, but I would be trading gold for gold. But this trader would pay itself off pretty quick, I think. So I'm going to buy the trader. The sooner I get it, the better. Now, do I want to do an internal trade route, or do I want to do an external? So we finished the observatory, which is excellent. Now that we've finished the observatory, we should go for the library, but I think the observatory was actually cheaper than the library right now. So it would be a big investment in a library for +1 great scientist points. I would much rather get a monument right now, because the +2 culture from that would be worth way more than the +2 science, because my culture is relatively speaking much lower. So we'll go for that. These trade routes are not high quality. I could trade with Caguana, or I could trade to my capital for 2 food and 1 production with this new city. It would really help this new city get off the ground. Let's grab this. Mysticism has been found. Early Empire has been found. We get to choose our Pantheon now. I think it's an obvious pick here that we go for culture from plantations. It really helps this civ out. In the early game, that small amount of culture, like, it just means every plantation is half a monument. We do have to be working it though. So I'm going to take the city off production focus, and instead I'm going to put it on plantation focus. Yeah, I think this layout is fine. This one gives me a bit of food and production and gold. This is food, production and gold. And then this is food and production. I'll probably finish this monument. Oh, I could have built Etamananki. Oh shit, I thought it was meant to be only floodplains only. Huh. Well, here's the thing. If I don't go for it, I'll regret it for the rest of the game. I should have gone Marsh Pantheon. Do I reload this turn and attempt it? I have to. This is how you know it's been a while since I've played Civ, is when I make a mistake like that. That's just like a memory mistake. Dude, I could have been going for Etamananki. That is insane that I didn't. Okay, so we finished that. We're going to instead go for the Lady of Reeds and Marshes. That's going to be +2 production from Mars, Oasis, and Desert Floodplains. I bet you there was people screaming at their screen like, Potato, no, don't do it, man. I didn't do it, all right? I changed reality can be whatever I want it to be. I think then we're going to hold this trader for production, and we're going to go for the Etamananki. We're going to prioritize food and production. We're going to get started on the Etamananki, because that's +2 science, +1 production to all marsh tiles in your empire, and +1 science and +1 production to all floodplains. Oh, it's only for this city is the floodplains. Even so, that's fine. Making marshes so much better could be really good for my empire. We have a few marshes around. Let's go for it. We have to give it the attempt. It's a 17-turn build. Now, normally Etamananki goes by turn 32, so this is an ambitious play. Okay, but here's the thing. 99% of the time, I would never go for this play, right? Because it's obvious at this point in the game that the probability that I get Etamananki here is basically 0. However, if I do get Etamananki, that just makes it so much more impressive and awesome. If I move this city 2 tiles to the left, if I move it 1 tile left, if I move this city 1 tile left, I get slightly more room to the right of this city, but I don't want to do that, so I'm going to settle it in place. Well, if I move it 1 tile left, it's not that big of a deal. I think I'll move the city 1 tile left, because I can just put the city center here and then replace this with a commercial hub. And I don't think that really changes the plan for the city. We can't get the wonder production card. That's fine. Let's go ahead and settle our second city. There we go. +1 era score. Let's get the plantation online. It's a good old plantation. We are going to go ahead and send the trade route to Copan to try and boost our capital, because maybe that'll shave a turn off the Edamanankey. I don't know. Let's get started on the monument. We are working a high food tile, which is the perfect kind of tile to be working early on in the city's life. However, the city has no food, which is a bit of a problem. So I think I'm going to buy a second tea tile to get the city another +1 housing. A wonder just got built, and it was the pyramids. Okay, pyramids have gone. I could have gone for Edamanankey and pyramids this game, and I didn't think of either. That's just how you know it's been a while since I've been playing Civ actively, dude. There's horseback riding. Did we find any horses in our empire? It doesn't look like we did. It's not a very big deal. We don't need them because it looks like we've spawned a little bit of an isolated start, which I'm honestly totally fine with. I'm going to... Oh, actually, a couple of horses over here by Samarkand. We do need to come up with a plan to kill Samarkand. It might be trebuchets or something. Some kind of military push, I think, makes sense. They've got culture on this tile, which suggests potentially it's Signy to the right. I think I'm going to unlock bronze working here to get access to iron, partially because it will give me +1 science in the tiles that it's found on, but also +1 production, I'm pretty sure. And it'll be a place for more resources that I can sell to the AI. Right, there's early empire. That's a really nice grab. We don't need God King anymore. We're going to plug in urban planning. We will keep discipline, and yeah, we don't need anything else for now. So we potentially shaved a few turns off this Edamanankey, and we're continuing to scout to the north. Now, in terms of who I should go for here, if I appoint Magnus, and walk down, I could chop the last step of this wonder out. Ooh, it would only shave me a couple turns, but it would shave a couple turns, and I'm gonna want Magnus anyway. I mean, it kind of cripples the city, so we'll need to get a new builder at some point, but that's fine. We can just go builder, settler in the capital. Very, very weird opener here. Let's go for craftsmanship and state workforce. We go for craftsmanship because it's on the way to state workforce. We want the government plaza, we want their second governor title, and both of those are on the way to the tier 2 government. Well, tier 1 government, technically, political philosophy, autocracy, oligarchy, and classical republic. Oracle has been built, a great prophet has been recruited, multiple people are running great scientist points. These are all things that I accept and understand about the game of Civilization 6 that will happen, that I do not have control over, and that I just have to live with. This is a huge desert, by the way, occupying my land. So if this desert was like half its size, if there was like half as many tiles that it were desert, I would have a much easier start. Oh man, this is... I think I kill Kagwanda as well. Damn it. Yeah, I think it might be worth it to settle more than... I think it might be worth it for me to settle cities outside my range of 6. It's normally not ideal to do, but isolated start with bad land might mean I need to spam cities. We'll see what we can do. It's not guaranteed that I have to do that. I totally forgot to actually grab Magnus and appoint him to the city, which is like absolutely a huge mistake. Yeah, I'm a little rusty, so I'm going to make some mistakes. Somehow I might get away with it though. Come on, please let me get away with the Edamanankey. Dude, you have no idea how hype it would be if I could get away with this Edamanankey right now. So at 170 production, I can chop in 2 turns, I think. The chop is worth 32 production. Can I research a cheap tech? If I research archery in 2 turns, that would give me access to Ulche and Edamanankey. Okay, I might be able to chop in 2 turns. I think that'll work. I'm going to take free inquiry. +1 era score every time we trigger a Eureka. We haven't triggered many, so there's a ton of ways for us to earn era score. And +1 era score every time we construct a building that gives science as a base yield. We have delayed building our library, so that's just +1 era score sitting there for 90 production or whatever. 32 production on a chop. Yes, I think we chop next turn, and that will be a successful wonder construction. As long as it doesn't go right this turn. Oh my god, there's archery. We have access to the Ulche. This guy's now worth 36 production when he chops. We chop, and immediately we get the Edamanankey, dude. Oh my god, I don't believe it. How? How did I pull this off? It shouldn't be possible. What? No. Like, dude, I almost never get this wonder. It's so good. It's such a good wonder. Look at these tiles, dude. I haven't even bought all the tiles. Oh my god. Come here. Okay, I need a little bit more money there to buy that one. Come on. Look at this, man. Look at this. Look at those beautiful tiles, dude. Tell me you've seen... There's no way you've ever seen anything as beautiful as that. There's no way. It's never happened. It's never happened, dude. It's so beautiful. It's majestic. Majestic. And we got another 1, 2, plus a little bit of desert going on up here. Not a huge amount of marsh in my empire, but I think it is a really good investment for science in my capital, as well as production with this Pantheon. I think it's going to give me a really good early game. I'm going to quickly finish the monument, then go builder, because Copan needs a builder refund, and then double settler. We also might be settling more cities than I normally would in this kind of a game. Where is this culture coming from? I don't understand. So part of my goal for this era would be to try to get a golden age and get as many Eurekas as possible, and also to unlock currency and build as many commercial hubs as possible. If I can get a golden age this era, it would be a huge step forward. Oh, it's a marble tile. Of course. I don't know how I didn't think of that. The hell is wrong with me? I'm going to reassign Magnus to Copan. We did find iron, which is great. We found Mitla and Tamar. Now, finding Tamar is a huge win for me because it's my very first trading partner in the game. And I can give her huge trade deals. How much for the citrus? 11 gold per turn. Look at that. And if I add a salt, she'll only charge me 2. That's incredible. 9 GPT literally doubles my surplus economy. So I go from making like 10 to 18 gold per turn. That's a huge win right there for me. It is turn 55, so I do need to start thinking about settlers. I'm going to come into state workforce. I'm going to drop this, plug in colonization so I can start settler spamming. We have discipline. There are other wonders it would be nice to get, like Temple of Artemis would be amazing, but it would require me to get a camp. The closest camp is down here. We could maybe get it over here, but we'll have to kind of see what we can do. All right, let's get the quarry. The quarry will give us a Eureka, which is worth +1 era score. That's a big win. We have managed to fully explore my island, and now we should start to decide upon an expansion plan in my island. I definitely want to settle adjacent to luxuries where possible, because those are worth +1 amenity for me. That's something I really need to be keeping in mind, and keeping those positive amenities really help. That plus 10% from amenities on top of the 10% coming from my civ. Plus, if I can keep all my cities happy, it basically eliminates the minus 10% from my civ's penalty. So it's a pretty big deal, but you do have to think about it like cities within 6 tiles of my capital with positive amenities, they get 120% production, right? Because they get a 20% boost. Cities outside, they only get 100% production, so they're 20% worse. And if I go to negative amenities with cities outside my ring, the 6 rings of my capital, dude, that's like negative 20%, which means they're like, what, 2/3 as good as a city inside my inner ring. So you do have to expand really carefully and focus on amenities. We are almost certainly going to be going for the Colosseum this game to try to keep amenities high. In fact, I think it's completely necessary for me to go Colosseum in this game. So we'll be looking for a good city overlap tile. It'll probably be somewhere 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll probably be somewhere in these like 4 tiles. Somewhere in here will be the Colosseum and Entertainment Complex to hit all these cities and keep them happy. Let's finally grab Pingala. We're going to appoint Pingala in the capital to keep the capital getting the 15% culture and science that Pingala provides. You can see here in his abilities, if we go to this, 15% increase in science and culture generated by the city, which is very, very nice. That is why Pingala is one of the S tier, is probably the S tier governor. Unfortunately, not all governors are equally as viable in the early game. +1 era score for researching currency, the first tech of a new era. Would love to be building the commercial hub right now, just can't afford it based on the situation we're in. Don't really have any tiles I'd like to improve. I would like to buy a marsh in Copan, and I think I will. I think my money is best spent buying tiles right now, and so that's what I'm going to prioritize. I'm also going to build the iron. Building the iron will both boost the wheel and ironworking, getting me 2 boosts, aka 2 era score. I also need to settle a city coastally in order to get the boost for sailing. And I also need to build 3 mines to get the boost for apprenticeship. Again, I would really like to get a golden age, and I would like to get a golden age with my commercial hubs built. So this is going to be a very busy era from a perspective of managing which bonuses I think I am and which bonuses I think I am not going to get. So I'm going to research masonry because it's already boosted, and then I'll research wheel because it's already going to be boosted, and then I have to build a watermill to boost construction. That's because I'm trying to maximize my era score. And the reason I want a golden age is because I would like to go for the, I forget what it's called. It's not pen, brush, and voice. I think it's like free inquiry. It's the one that gives you science from your commercial hub adjacency. Anyway, there's masonry completed. We got ancient walls, which is also worth the boost. Pyramids, which has already been built, and we can now harvest stone, although that is probably the least important part of that. Now, let's keep on exploring. Good friend, good sir. First settler is out. Let's link him up. We're going to go settle coastally because that'll open up new tech for us. It's not a particularly good city, but it will allow us to potentially explore. I will be going for a couple galleys. There is a boost for shipbuilding for owning 2 galleys, so that's what we'll be going for. We're going to go ahead and build the iron mine. That'll be wheel boosted. Excellent. And knowledge of the wheel advanced and knowledge of ironworking. We're also going to get that tea online because more luxuries is more winning. Ironworking has been boosted, so we will just go ahead and research that. I need the watermill, and I need ancient walls in my capital, but I also just need lots of cities. Not sure if that changes my plans. No, it should be fine. It should be fine. I'll definitely be building watermill. Ancient walls can wait a little while, can it? Yeah, engineering. I mean, we'll go for it. Okay, the city of Copan. I'm going to buy this tile and then immediately place my observatory. This is definitely the tile I want to put it. Yep. We'll start building it. Do I go granary? I haven't even built granary in my capital. Is it more important for me to get the observatory or the granary up? Granary is so much housing, and we do have really high quality tiles here. This is worth 2 science plus a great scientist point. I think the growth right now has like an extremely high payoff in the long term of the game, so that's what we're going to go for. It's really hard not to go for growth early because of the payoff of it. +1 era score there from political philosophy. I do think Classical Republic is to play here. Small boost in great people points and a little bit of housing and amenities always pays off. I think the other ones, we're not in situations that justify going for the other ones. I'm going to plug in urban planning for +2 production. I'm also going to plug in charismatic leader so we can start building our relationship with Mitla. And finally, I could go for God King, or I could go for land surveys to make tiles cheaper. I'm going to make tiles cheaper to make my gold go further. Let's found a city right here. Boom. We're going to immediately go and research sailing. We'll get this iron online because that'll give the city something to grow. We'll get ourselves a pair of galleys when the time comes. We'll just slowly work on a monument for now. And we might even buy a couple of these fishing tiles. These safe crab tiles are really nice, actually. But I think we want the growth rather than the money. Honestly, this is +1 housing and it's 6 money. It's so good. And it's safe. It can't even be pillaged. I got to take the crabs here. Alrighty. Boom. Plantation down in Copan, giving us +1 housing, which really just means that city's able to slightly grow for a single term without too much penalty. We've Mount Lautaro. We'll go ahead and swiftly say hello to him. I will offer him a delegation, and I will also make an open borders deal with him. And I will even go and buy his luxuries, willing to pay for those. He's on 5 cities, I'm on 3, keeping those luxuries nice and high. Right, iron mine down here in Palenque, giving me +1 production, which is really nice. We should be 1 more mine, and then we get the boost for workshops. We have almost already secured a normal age, and we're only at the cusp of the classical era. I've got 1 more build charge over here. Where would this build charge be most efficient in my entire empire? A chop right now would be great in this city because we could finish that granary like right now. I think that would boost that city quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do a chop over there. Just quickly chop this hill because we can always put a mine on that hill. Let's have a look. We will go ahead and research ironworking. We just finished sailing. Where's our next boosts coming in? It's got to be watermill and ancient walls, right? Which means we need to go watermill, ancient walls in the capital. I guess if I'm doing those, I may as well get my granary in. 3 turns for the granary, 4 turns for the watermill. 4 turns for the ancient walls, and then we'll go for the Colosseum in the capital and see if we can crank out settlers in those other cities. We're definitely not rushing to settle the rest of this land. We are trying to play it a little bit tall right now. Scientifically, we're staying on pace with the AI. Culturally, we're falling behind, but scientifically, we're staying on pace. Yeah, it looks like we're top 4 on science right now. And hopefully the Colosseum will help us catch up on culture. I'm going to go ahead and chop this tile for 70 production. That will immediately finish the granary, giving the city actual housing. Then we're going to go ahead and grab the observatory, use the overflow production to get that observatory in 2 turns, and we'll see where we stand with that. I'm going to go ahead, and I guess now is the time to unlock the Petra. Yeah, I think now is the time to get the Petra going in Copan. We have 1, 2, 3 potential chops in here. So building an observatory, then going for a builder, then going for the Petra is the play, I think. Even maybe 2 builders might be the play first. Fishing tile, I would like to buy another fishing tile, but they are 96 gold right now. Anything I can sell? Yeah, I think I'll sell my iron just to get that little bit of cash because I don't need my iron for anything else. It is +1 era score if I do use my warrior for a thingy, and I should bring you back to become a Holche should I want it or need it. Granary finishing in the capital, that'll allow us to go up to 9 population now, which makes it way more viable for me to work these high food tiles. And way bigger payoff because now we're not going to be hitting growth penalties as we approach our housing limit. Or rather, we're still going to get growth penalties, but just they apply to a higher number. In terms of growth in Palanque, I think growth is more important. So I'm going to work these 2 food, 3 production, or 3 gold tiles rather. I mean, I'm literally halving the city's growth, or halving the city's production, but I'm like doubling the growth. And also bringing in an extra 3 gold per turn. So working these crab tiles is fantastic for the long-term sustainability of the city. Great library has been built. Not that we were going to go for it. I mean, it's a great early wonder if you want to buy some books off people. Apadana is kind of similar. But because it's such a default wonder and it's so easy to build, it's usually gone pretty early. I think, though, that's a good place as any to call it for this episode. A very interesting and strange start to the game. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.